Guys, welcome to another episode of Vend Talk, hosted by me, Donald Luxama from Vend. This is a podcast sponsored by Vend Guys, and our guest today is Matthew Rainey.
I am Matthew Rainey, owner-operator of Surpass Refreshments of Southwest Florida. We do traditional vending, markets, smart stores, office coffee. Roughly have about 600 machines and 30 smart stores.
Interesting. So 2025, most people are wondering, is vending machine like a good business to start, right? There's so much information online. Most people don't even scale up to like 600 vending machines, right? So tell me your start. How did you get into vending? What was like initial startup?
I started with one machine and carried it by myself till probably 100, 200 machines until I hired my first employee. And we just kept going from there.
Why vending machines though? There's so many different businesses you could have started. Real estate, drop shipping, Airbnb. So many different things. Why vending?
That is a great question. I'm actually an auto mechanic by trade. I didn't get into vending till about 13 years ago. And I got into it thinking this type of business would be easier on my body long term instead of being underneath a car all day long, upside down. So I was thinking of something long term of a business that I could get into, and it was vending.
Did you like a video? Did you see an ad? Did you see somebody like that had a vending machine business that spoke to you?
I actually just saw a guy filling vending machines one day, maybe out in public. I can't exactly remember where. And it just stuck in my head of, I think that would be a good job. I think I can do that. I think I can grow that into something pretty big.
And what do you think are some keys to success that you found out? Because this is like a multi-million-dollar operation that you're running. Like, most people, you go on the internet and you see like average vending machine makes like $200 a month, right? Now you have 100 machines. What were some things that you did to scale up to this number? Because you started from one, then get up to 100. What was the tactics that you used to find locations?
I think this is a very touchy subject. We got into in high schools, it could be good and bad. That is where a lot of our volume goes. That's where we get a lot of our volume of vending. It's not easy to get into high schools, but once you show these high schools that you can do what they want, we pretty much have all of the high schools in our county. But it could be good and bad too. So we had to go out and get other different accounts too, just because if you lose all these high schools, it could make you go under overnight if you lose all those high schools. So we've branched out to diversify 50 high schools, and the other half is regular vending accounts in case that ever fell through.
Interesting. You focused on getting high schools. So I'm presuming those are like your best vending machine locations, like the high schools, right? I know somebody's probably watching this wondering, like, get into high school. I want to put my vending machine into like my old high school. How do you get a vending machine into the high schools?
So it depends on how your local county schools are. They bid it out. You bid on the bids for all the schools, or they're all independent. You don't know until you ask. You just send out emails. What I did was, I knew during the summer is when the schools had time off, and if they ever did want to make changes with who they had for vending, the summer would be the time, because some of our high schools have 18 machines. So if a school wanted to switch operators, they can't just do that on a Tuesday. So they had to plan it out to where all this could happen. And during the summer is when a lot of this happened. We picked up 4 or 5 high schools just in one summer. But also you have to be an operator ready to have that manpower, because you first have to come up with all those machines and equipment, and then you have to be able to have that manpower to keep those filled. Some of our high schools were daily fills of 18 machines at the peak of great times of high schools. But high schools is not something you can count on forever.
Interesting.
So it's a catch-22.
So 2-part question, right? How does someone get the capital to even to get one of these schools? Because think about it, like 18 vending machines, right? You could be anywhere like $30,000, $40,000. Like, is someone like capital? Is it like, did you get access to loans, or did you get help from your family? Like, how does someone go? And then also talk about what type of equipment you were getting. You have currently right now that you use?
So I never got any loans. I save every bit of my money that the business makes, and I keep buying things for business. I'm not going out and buying nice cars, nice houses. I'm just keep putting the money back into the business. And what I really did was I got into a great relationship with my local Pepsi bottler. All of our drink machines are Pepsi machines, which are assets to the Pepsi, and we just have to buy product to fill those machines. So we didn't have to come up with money for the machines. The snack machines we did, and we bought used machines. Nice machines, but used, because high school kids are very hard on vending equipment, very hard.
And what equipment were you using? Do you use currently today? You could tell us some of the vending machines, snack, drink vending machines that you use, the brands, the models.
So all of our Pepsi equipment is Dixie Narco 501Es from Pepsi. They're refurbished, they look brand new. And a majority of our snack machines are all AMS or Crane 6-wide snack machines. 2026
is coming, right? Everyone is probably looking for a new business to start, right? Everyone's always, what business should I start? And I always tell people, like, vending machines is such like an easy business, right? You put snacks in the vending machine, you fill it up, and then you collect on the back end, right? So now that you have 100 machines, what does logistics look like to operate like this massive company? Let's talk about like that side. Maybe there's some larger operators that, or let's say bigger operators. How do you manage such like a team? Because I know hiring is hard for some people. Like, how do you hire people? They just steal from the vending machines? How do you manage it?
So there's a lot of back end work. All of our back end goes through Cantaloupe Seed. We use Seed Pick Easy. Everything's picked in our warehouse and goes out onto the trucks the next day. Everything's captured in Seed. Cash flow, all the credit card readings, all the sales, everything is captured through Seed. And we rely on all that information from Seed. So that's how the daily goes with how it's all done.
Okay, interesting. So warehouse, everything is captured through Seed, so you know what's coming in, what's coming out. You talked about that you also had like type of stores as well in the beginning. What can you go into that a little bit? Smart stores.
So in 2025, the end of 24, we got into markets, micro markets. After going to NAMA in 2024, you start seeing that vending machines are not at these shows anymore. So whether you think it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, we went fully into micro markets and smart stores in 2024 and 25. In 1 year, I think we did 20 micro markets, including our smart stores. And we really don't even want any accounts that would want vending machines.
20 micro markets. What's the average cost of a micro market for someone wondering? And what is a micro market for those who, what are these guys talking about?
So a micro market is basically an open air store. There's a lot of risk involved. And it's got to be a type of location that theft is always talked about. Theft is everywhere, whether you think it's the best location or not. It could be an accident or whatnot. Theft is going to happen. So that's when we started going into smart stores. Smart stores are closed. Nobody can grab anything out of the cooler until their credit card is tapped on the machine, and then the doors open. So there's basically zero theft in those. Now, the downfall of those is those smart stores are very expensive. They're about $30,000 for each smart store.
Wait, in the smart stores, is you tap your card, you open, sense like a door, like a cooler?
Correct.
And then you just grab what you want?
Correct.
And there's cameras to like what you grab?
So some smart stores have cameras. Cantaloupes have weighted shelves. We have a lot of Cantaloupe's weighted shelf smart stores, and we have some with cameras.
Mm-hmm. How does the weighted shelf work?
So the weighted shelf works like this. So everything in that cooler is in a planogram, and it's weighted to what you put in that shelf. So you weigh it, and you set up the smart store with a weight, and then you weigh the product. And then it knows when something's pulled off of that shelf, it knows, for one, it knows what's supposed to be in that shelf, it knows how much it weighs, and it knows one was pulled off. Now, people can try to trick it, and they'll put that back. If you put it back in a different shelf, it knows that too, because it knows, for one, where you pulled it from, and it knows nothing was pulled from that shelf that you just put it from. So it will charge you if you keep it in that wrong shelf. And also, if you think that, well, I'll just put an empty bottle back into that where it came from, that won't work either, because it knows the weight of that product that was removed from that shelf. So it knows all that information, and they've spent a lot of man hours trying to trick the smart store. I don't think it can be tricked. I really don't.
Got you. What do you think makes a good vending machine location? Because I know 600 vending machines, you probably seen so many different types of vending machine locations, accounts. What do you think makes a good vending machine location?
So a good vending location may different from me versus someone just starting out. I have so much overhead. I have cost of employees. I have cost of trucks. I have cost of picking that product just to get to that spot. So this type of location that I need is going to require a lot of people there. For someone who's just starting out, a location may be good if they know they can make some money here. But for me, it's going to require a lot of foot traffic at this location.
If you were to give us a number, like how many people at a location for you guys to even consider it at the level you guys are right now with the warehouse, trucks, employees?
Yes. So it's going to have to start with 100 people at least at a location. And then after we're in this location, we're going to have to see the numbers to support those people there. And if the numbers don't support, we just can't keep equipment at this location just because we don't want something to continue to expire. And I can't send a driver there to collect $10. So it requires a lot.
Do you have a certain revenue that location has to make for it to even be like, you're not keeping it here?
So a threshold usually is our glass front. It has to do at least $100 in sales a week, and a snack machine would have to do $100 a week in sales. That's the bottom threshold. So roughly $200 a week is a bottom threshold.
So about $800 a month just for that location for you to send drivers, send everything.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: is there any locations that you would have tell people to avoid now that you have, and you're like, man, I should have never put a vending machine here. I don't know why I put it here.
And I know that this question's asked on every podcast, and I'm going to have to continue it to go. It's apartment complexes.
Woo!
And I would love to see these apartment complexes. There's luxury apartment complexes. We're heavily involved with Cantaloupes. They have a whole marketing team that puts us in leads with apartment complexes, and we keep taking them. And I'm ready for them to eventually say what they're going to say they do. It hasn't happened yet. And these luxury apartment complexes, they're not wanting vending machines anymore either. They're wanting these $30,000 smart stores. So when you get involved with these apartment complexes that want these $30,000 smart stores, because these apartment complexes, the amenities they're crazy, and these apartment complexes, they look great, and they do look great, but we're just not seeing the sales to put a $30,000 store in.
Interesting.
They look great. The managers want them because they look great, but as us, it's just hard to shell out that money because the money's just not coming back.
Ooh, that's controversial. I know a lot of people are going to see it and say, oh, my apartment complex makes X, Y, and Z, but it's okay.
I want to see that too, but it also may be where we're located. We're located in Southwest Florida. People can drive 2 minutes down the road to a gas station, to a supermarket, to a Walmart. They can do that. When I lived in an apartment, I know I would have never walked to the clubhouse to go use the vending machine. I would have never done that. So I don't know.
Interesting. So let me ask this. You just said something. You said you were on Cantaloupe's list. They send you leads. I know in the beginning, did you go out in the beginning where you were like pitching vending machine companies 1 to 100 locations? Or 1 to 100 vending machines? Are you going out and you were pitching different locations in the beginning and now you're getting leads? Talk about that a little bit.
So Cantaloupe has a residential housing department that they don't sell leads, but they'll send you leads. You go there and you meet the people, and they, of course, obviously want you to buy the smart store to take that lead. And so far, we've taken all they've sent. I don't want to turn down one because I don't want to be off the go-to guy list. But at some point, I just can't keep getting.
But you got to pay $30,000 for the smart store as well.
I got to start seeing this makes sense. And I don't know if maybe the answer is maybe the apartment complex starts paying a rental fee or some kind of fee
on top of for you just to have
for this amenity. And the goal of the apartment complexes wants to fill up their apartments and use this as an amenity and the selling point of, hey, come rent our apartment, but it can't be at my cost. So
in the future, they're hoping like tell the apartment, hey, you got to pay us like $1,000 a month just for us to start.
I don't know what that number looks like, but it has to be something because we try to look at it in 18 months that this smart store is paid off and then it starts generating profit. So we need to see those numbers.
Let's talk about this. If you were to go back, right, and you were to ask your old self, what are some things you would tell your old self if you could go back now, having this massive company, all these employees, the warehouse, placing vending machines everywhere? Like, what would you go back and tell your old self?
So I've thought about this. So if I was to sell my business today and start over, I would do it the easiest way and buy out established vending routes already. That is the most easiest and fastest way to grow. And you can see that everywhere you go because you'll see the canteens of this world buying out operators to not only just grow their business, they're taking out their competition. But that is the easiest and fastest way. Now, it could also be bad too because you don't know what you're getting into so quick, so you have to be ready. But that's knowing what I know now and what I do different. I wouldn't know all this information back then, so it would have been a lot harder too, though.
So you did say something controversial before. Do you have any other controversial things Any vending secrets? I know people always like, what's the vending secrets? What are things they don't tell you? Any other controversial things in vending that you think people should know? Or maybe that they're being lied to that you could tell us now, besides like apartment complexes are not as good as they seem?
I would say that this job is a 24/7 hour job. I'm actually here in New York City right now, or actually in Brooklyn on vacation, and we're doing a podcast. I'm happy to do this, but my phone still rings while I'm on vacation, while I'm sleeping. Stop job. Very to be ready for that.
Interesting. And if you don't want to say the number, you can say the figure if that makes you feel more comfortable. If you could give us like a gross number. If you don't want to say the number, you can say the figure for, you feel me? If you want to, for a gross number, how much do you think your vending machine makes today?
I think in 2025 we grossed roughly right at $4 million.
Whew. Whew. And okay, end off the podcast. If you were to give someone advice, I know there's someone watching like, well, probably looking back, like if you were to talk like that you were a mechanic before, if you were to talk to a mechanic, did you ever think that you could have had like just give a piece of advice, the best piece of advice that you heard like throughout your time, if you could give someone that's watching this camera, that's watching this video, that's looking to start, that's like, a big day to it. Is there any piece of advice that you want to give them?
Oh yeah, you go as far as you want, and the only person who's going to make it stop is you. Very.
So when you guys first started, how did you guys deliver your products?
Right. So I was a mechanic when I first started doing this. So on one day a week, I had a Ford Focus wagon. I would empty out all my tools out because I was a mobile mechanic. I would empty my tools out and I would put the product in the wagon and I would go out and fill my locations that one day. And it was a Tuesday. I don't know why I remember this, but I did it on a Tuesday. And I put all the product in the Ford Focus wagon and we just went out and filled my stops.
Okay. And you were talking to us before about like you getting all the deals from like Walmart, talk about that process.
So yes, we do this too. Like we would go to Publix, and I say me and my wife, we would go to Publix. We look for BOGO deals, and we would vending like 16.9 ounce sodas at the time, and we would go for all the, I think it might have been buy 4 get 1 free or something like that. We literally empty out all the soda on the shelf that night, and we would stick all this product in our living room at our apartment at the time. So our apartment living room was basically full of all vending everything.
Oh, so your apartment became like the one
It did.
Yeah. Okay, so for now with the where do you product now? Because I'm guessing like 600. Like, where do you guys get your product now?
So now what we do, I mean, everything from Vistar, Pepsi, Coke, and it's all delivered. The main thing is Vistar is higher than Sam's on some items, but it's delivered to us. I send a guy out to go get a Sam's order or have a truck go pick all that up. The thing for us is it's delivered right to our warehouse. Pepsi is delivered to our warehouse. Coke's, everything is delivered to our warehouse. And costs a little bit more on some items. Pepsi and Coke, like you're not buying 20 ounce from anywhere but Coke or Pepsi, so that's the only place you can get those items anyways. That's where we're getting our items from.
So I'm thinking, so you started 13 years ago vending, right? So I'm thinking you probably seen vending change like from when you started. What's like the change have you seen from like now 13? You probably seen like a lot change. What's like the changes that you're seeing in vending now?
The biggest change obviously is micro-markets and smart stores, but also if you're stuck on vending machines, you're not going to see any change because that's where you're going to stay anyway. So like if you're going to trade shows, conferences, you're not going to see what everyone else is seeing. You're not going to see where the market is going. You're not going to see where the vending business is going. You're going to see vending machines. In reality, is what you're also going to see is you're going to start seeing your competition take you out of your good accounts with this newer equipment that's out there. The newer equipment looks way better than vending machines, and the technology is way better. It's where it's going. It'll go back, but it's definitely right now it's that way. And not every location is going to be there for this. What's new? There's always going to be a spot for everything that's out there. Like my schools, they're never going to get a smart store. They're never going to get a market. Just their high school kids. That's not ever going to happen.
Okay. You think like more if you put like one of those like market schools, like?
I mean, machines sometimes are almost going down the stairways. They can be mounted together in real, yeah. break the glass at all. That's never happened. But they're very rough on equipment.
Yeah. So that makes sense because like if you put 30,000 pieces of equipment, then you start seeing dents and scratches on your investment. Then it's like
that wouldn't even that's not happening. Yeah.
You think cash is gonna completely go away from like the new vending machines that you're seeing at like some of these trade shows, NAMA and all that stuff?
So all the smart markets in all of our markets are cashless. Even the ones that do take cash, you still have to create an account, and you're putting cash into an account. It's not like you're going to get change back. Well, maybe there's some. I'm not saying all, but you're still not getting a refund of what's left over. And I would go all cashless just because for me it's easier. You don't have to worry about a route driver stealing your money. You don't have to worry about doing your deposits of your cash. There's a lot less parts involved that can cause the machine not to work, and continue fixing those parts. When I first started vending, of course, I was like, no, I don't, here to stay, on the other way. And I would say about 90% of our sales already is cashless. So I think it's definitely heading that way.
And your wife is telling us a story how you used to count all the money you have to keep, like put the money in like a type of way and stuff.
When we first started, obviously we were counting the cash by hand, and I'm very OCD, and the bills had to face a certain way, had to sit on a certain way, and we count them like that, and that was started with that.
Gotcha. And then the coins, were you guys ever looking for like silver at all or anything?
No, so that is a very, very subject. I wish there was a type of machine that where you put your coins in, it could spot how it happened. I don't know, like specifically quarters of a certain age that were actually made out of silver that are worth the money versus the ones that are 25 cents. That would be a cool machine. That would be a very cool machine. Because I have heard, I don't know how true it is, but a guy would say, I got from your machine and it spit out a quarter that was worth $100. I don't know how true that is. That's what he said, but I want that quarter in there if I know, but.
If it just like separates and like.
Yes.
I've seen people make like but like that's so much time, like.
Very, very. And get of change already is like my bank, for one, they're starting me to deposit cash. It sounds that they're a bank, but they're charging me to deposit cash to them. And it's not just me because I do vending, but I mean, a certain threshold, you have to start paying to deposit your cash and your coins too. And the coins are not easy too. We would first start taking them to a bank that wouldn't charge under $100 for coins. And it's free, but after that they charge a percentage like a Coinstar. You definitely don't want to take your Coinstar. You're just throwing your money away at that point now.
Nah, definitely. Okay, and you were telling me before, how do you guys do refunds? You say you guys do refunds like differently?
So we have a company out there, it's called Zippy Assist. And we have, the operator has this time. If you have your name on the machine, they're going to call you, let you know if they lost $1 or whatever it may be. And these people expect you to jump out of the air and just hand this nickel or dollar to them instantly, no matter where you may be at all. So Zippy Assist is a sticker that goes on your machine, and you can submit a refund through your machine, and it'll go back to an online banking, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, those sort of things, and they can get that back instantly.
Interesting. So it's called Zippy Assist. Well, that's a hack. Okay, so it's a QR code that they scan?
So the sticker on the machine, it does have a QR code, or they could text the number that's on the machine. Every sticker is different. So when people submit a refund, you know where that machine is at. So you know the tech out there to, if there's an issue, to go double check that. And they have to submit a picture, people are not just transferring this QR code to all their friends, which they do at high schools. They'll submit a QR code and a picture, and they'll put it in a chat at different high schools, and you'll get these pictures, and I know where my machines are at, but maybe not other operators, but I'll be like, that machine's not even at that school, so reject that refund.
Wait, who go through those? You go through those requests?
I go through those requests.
Oh, okay.
So they have to make sense. Can they even actually happen? A lot of people don't know, if your machine has a drop sensor, they're on the front, but it will automatically refund back on their card. And it takes 24 hours. And you just have to let the customer know that.
Okay, so do refunds beforehand at the schools before you got Zippy Assist. And disclaimer, for those who's like, oh, I'm gonna get Zippy Assist because it's fast, you need a minimum of 200 machines. Don't quote me though, but you need to have a lot of vending machines out.
So before Zippy Assist, I had my personal phone number on all my machines, not just high schools, everywhere. And they'd call me if they had an issue. They could text me. But it got to a point where these high school kids were texting me some very, very messages and all times of the day and night. And I was like, there's got to be a way to where I can eliminate this. And we were giving the schools coupon vouchers for refunds. But the thing is, it involved the children going to an admin and basically giving them a job. And I didn't want these schools to have an extra job over a refund. So I wanted to eliminate that too. Then the kids were buying these coupon vouchers off the internet and getting free snacks off buying these coupons you get off the internet. So I had to, and then I heard about Zippy Assist, and it just made sense that, the text a number, it involved a teacher or admin having a log of refunds, and it just cut them out of the picture altogether, which you want at high schools, because you don't want, the administrations don't want to know nothing about these vending machines. They don't want to know if they want to know they're working, and they want to know that there's no issues. If it arise, because I can get something for free. Well, in the long run, they ruin it for everyone, because if there's enough of those complaints, that the schools will just eliminate the vending machines altogether. So you definitely don't want that.
And how much does Zippy Assist cost for someone that's thinking about, oh, I need Zippy Assist now?
So Zippy Assist, I think, is roughly $200 a month. And supply all the stickers, they supply all the back end. There's not an app, but it's all on computer and stuff like that. And you just load your account with money, refunds. But you could just give those refunds out, it would still be at the location. You give the refund right then and there.
Yeah. Okay. That makes so much sense. Like, a lot of people are like, wait, I didn't even know that exists. Like, there's so much stuff that I'm learning. Like, I know this stuff existed. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Are you on the side of having more quality? I just like a big debate. Like, I always ask, are you on the side of having more locations or more quality? Because I met a lot of vending business owners. Example, I met a guy in Arizona. He made $1 million off his first vending machine location, 8 vending machines. It was at a construction site. Just one location, 8 vending machines, $1 million his first year. It was at a microchip plant. So just back to the question, are you more more locations, quality locations?
So that's a hard, because it's hard to down a location. I mean, even if this is a good location, you're like, I shouldn't, but you still do it. So I still do it every time. Now I'll be a little bit more, ask questions. You still do it, but you never know. Even though if it's a bad location, sometimes those bad locations open up doors for other locations, very good locations. You may have some location that do anything, but you're like, I'm going to get rid of this account, but you just hang on to it. And many times I've hung on to these very bad locations, and then they open up a door hey, we have a office coming in to be 3 times bigger, and you're like, wow, if I got rid of that location, you wouldn't have that opportunity anymore. So. And I'm not saying that's a good thing to do, because it takes money to hold on to that location, to service that location that's underperforming. But it also is holding equipment. Where else are you going to put it? In your warehouse? I mean, if you have a ton of equipment. So to bring back another piece to my warehouse, I'd rather just underperform. And sometimes it opens up other doors. And it has happened many, many, many times.
Are there any other ways that you're making money from vending? Are you selling locations or vending machines? Are you renting out slots? Any other ways? I use social media to make money. Is there any other ways that you're making money through vending that people don't know about?
So I don't. I live in a town that it has, but I could sell equipment, but I don't have the time to train someone how to learn to use this equipment. In the main is, they may be for equipment that potentially could take one of my accounts. So I definitely don't want to entertain selling a piece of equipment that could be going into my account. And now I'm taking my equipment out and I'm selling a piece of equipment for them. So if I can, And if they say, I guess I don't want to supply my competition with equipment.
Is it competitive where you're at?
So I guess because I don't think I have competition because I think my competition is bigger operators. There's canteen area, and that's kind of only where I'm at. I'm very long in this, so I've lost accounts. Went to a smaller operator. Those smaller operators fold, and then they call us again, and we're back in there again. So that happens a lot, actually. The turnover is a lot. You know, and people say you may have a manager of who hires a vendor. They're there this week, and months down the road, it's a new one, and they call you back, or you know, they from your website.
Okay. What mindset do you think you need to have? Because I know when you had like probably like 10, 100 machines, it was a different mindset than now that you have like 600 machines. What do you think any machine owners need to have now that you have at like this level?
I think I have the same mindset as if I had 10 or as if I had 1,000. You still have to go out and do the work that you say you're going to do. People are expecting you to show up when you say you're going to show up. And I think that I get 90% of my accounts is that they do what I say.
So the question, most vending machine operators or most businesses, they touch millionaire status and they're rushing to jewelry, cars, houses and stuff like that. Like, where do you put most of your money now?
So I put most of my money back into the business with, this year was focused on getting new vehicles, replacing the fleet with newer. Having trucks that route breaks down could be very, very costly. Not only to get it costly, you can get into a jam to where you're going to go out and do something as far as getting that route back on, and it may cost you a lot of money. Where if you just had quality vehicles that always stay running and maintained, they'll always be good for you.
What vehicles?
Route trucks are older Isuzus. I have these body trucks that were diesels, which I would never get a diesel truck ever again. And we're newer Isuzus trucks, and just using the same bodies. So we're doing, every 6 months I have a brand new fleet here in one more year.
How many trucks do you think you have currently right now?
Right now we have roughly 4 route trucks. One is I take my trucks seriously. We have one that's a backup. I have one that's ready to go just in case if one breaks down. We have 2 moving trucks for equipment moving, and I think we have about 3 service vehicles between the truck I drive, the truck that Tech drives, and then our drives.
Who's Tech and CSM?
So we have a technician.
Oh, technician, okay.
Technician, like a service manager, making sure our accounts are okay, making sure our accounts, nothing's wrong. He does, so we have 8 or 9 cars in our fleet.
How many employees do you think you have currently across the whole operation now?
I think we're at about 8 people right now.
8 people?
8 people.
Question, if you could be a vending machine, what type of vending machine would you be? Where would you place yourself? And what year would it be in?
That's a good question. I would definitely be like a BevMax merchant media, high dollar, high quality machine.
Where would you place yourself?
In like a hospital.
Hospital?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a weird question.
Okay, and what year would be in?
Now.
2025?
Yeah.
Not for sure. But if you guys got this far to the video, comment the word Vend Guys, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.